I guess I'm representing at least some parts of the family tonight, the siblings. Usually thought of as sibling rivalry, but not in this case. My brother was so much older than I was, and so much more accomplished than I was, that there was just no point in having rivalry. But my sister and my brother were a little bit closer in age, and there was considerable rivalry there. And I thought Brian was just making a joke about those lights, but my golly, I can't see anyone. So I'd like Denny to come on up here. And I couldn't quite figure out what it was. My sister, who's sick today, as is her daughter, she gave me this strange thing to give to my brother, which it's red, and it's small, and it looks an awful lot like a dustpan to me. Yeah. And I mean, I don't think this begin to properly shovel all of the, well, let's just, but, so what I really thought was what she intended to give was a real shovel, which, if you've ever been to one of Denny's many birthday parties, and my sister's there, he will tell you the story of what first traumatized him and why he's been such a wallflower since then, Caroline. And it has to do with my sister, who was a year older and probably weighed 15 pounds more than he did at that point. Apparently, what age was it, Dad?
It was
Were you speaking yet?
6 or 7.
Yeah.
Was this in Kensington?
Yes, this was in Kensington, Maryland, and Pat was 7 and Denny was 6, and I somehow think that you could tell that story better because you've done a lot of practice.
Well, my sister and I were playing in the sandbox, and unfortunately there was a small, it wasn't quite this size, there was a small shovel that was in the sandbox. And then we were, well, it was a small one, yes. And I thought, since she was my older sister by almost a year, less 3 days, that I needed to be respectful and defer to her wishes. And so she said to me, she says, Denny, she called me Denny now. Denny, I'm going to throw this little thing up in the air, and I'd like you to catch it. And it was a small shovel, and it wasn't quite this large, but I have to tell you, it had this very sharp point on it. And was that 6?
6.
6. And so I had not, let's see, manual dexterity, yes, thank you. I had not, the whole catching thing didn't catch on with me until maybe I was 9 or 10, something like that. So she flipped the shovel up in the air, and then I attempted to catch it. Well, naturally, since I wasn't manually dexterous, is that a correct word?
Yes.
Okay, good. I wasn't manually dexterous, I missed it. And the shovel landed right here on my lip. And I have a scar here that I'll forever remember and treasure my sister as a consequence of that. And so it hit me, and I just, And what did she do? She laughed. She just laughed and said, oh, I'm sorry you didn't catch that, stupid. And I said, thank you very much. And so that's the end of that story. And it's not one that I really like to recall often.
But somehow has.
Thank you, Steve.
So, I mean, he was just saying something about, well, thank you very much.
Oh, no.
So
when
he was, it would have been about 17. 16 in high school. I learned, first off, I had a birthday, and what did he do on my birthday? He wrecked the car. But in the snow, that was a car that had exploded because Denny and probably Rit and John Falk took a 1951 Mercury, the kind that James Dean used to drive, apart, and painted the whole thing red and silver.
But that was the engine, not the car.
Yeah, right. The car remained black. And then Mom and I were going to the grocery store, and on the way back, we just heard this. Well, it had thrown every piston rod around.
It wasn't my fault.
That was about a week and a half after Denny rebuilt the car. But anyway.
Well, I didn't actually. I had a friend who helped me, and we painted it.
But with the whole Elvis thing, I always thought that Denny got that sort of snare when he used to sing on tabletops on 14th Street to get free drinks from when he imitated Elvis, but now I know it's actually from the show. But Denny did keep some of that hostility around for years. Certainly until I was probably, well, he was back from the Army then, so I would have been about the same age, 7 or 8. And this might give you a little bit of a clue. When you got back from the Army, yeah. Let's see, I would have been 6. 13 years difference, 12 years difference. So if that could give you a little